Boom, shake the room. Hey Taylorians, welcome to TGC podcast brought to you by Life Skills Center for Future Learning. Today's theme is TGC 3 Communication Skills. We will be talking about communicating well and other skills needed to succeed in the professional world. To drop these value bombs, we have brought Ms. Farah Nadia into our virtual studio. Farah is Assistant Vice President, Governance, Risk and Compliance from the prestigious Khazanah National Berhad. Prior to that, she was an AVP of Corporate Communication. She graduated from Fox School of Business, Temple University, where she majored in actuarial science. She is an all-rounder. She has done some exciting work in finance, corporate affairs, and corporate comm before going into investment risk management. We will be talking about her drive in her career, critical skills and capabilities that she got from her university, which she is applying for her success, and most importantly, how she applies communication skills such as talking according to the audience, having a structured communication, writing straightforward emails by cutting the jargons, and so much more to rock it in the workplace. So stay tuned and get inspired. I am delighted to have Farah Nadia Mohammad Fazil, Assistant Vice President, Governance, Risk and Compliance from Khazanah National, who is also a good buddy of mine, whom I call Nadine, this evening for TGC Podcast Series number 1. How are you doing today, Miss Farah?
I'm great, Navin. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. The pleasure is all ours. Now, tell us what drives you in your profession.
I think throughout my career, I changed a lot, as in like post or like job role. Yeah, I changed a lot of role. So I think that I would say like the challenge that comes my way, because every time I move into a new role, a new challenge will come in, and the fact that, for example, in Kazana itself, I started with corporate communications team, and after 2 years, there was an opening in the GRC department, and I thought like, okay, I think that's what I want to be because of my qualification. I thought I would want to give it a try, so I did. I applied and I got it, and from there it's basically back to zero. I had to learn everything again. Although I studied actuarial science, and I'm doing investment risk right now, but that doesn't mean that I got everything in hand, So it was just the learning just kept going, and I guess that what drives me and what I'm doing right now. Just kept on progressing. You just want to keep on progressing, and you just want to keep on learning and take on new challenge. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. So you mentioned that though you did actuarial science, and it's a pretty solid degree, right? As we all know, but
Yeah.
you did actually go through multiple different careers and
Yes.
finally landed on something that's relevant. Now, what is one of the most important skills or capabilities that you developed in university?
I think university prepares you more than just what you learn on the whiteboard or now you learn on Zoom. But I think it's the critical thinking part, the adaptability, the independence in like you have to do your own assignments, or you have to brave up yourself and ask your teammates whom you never met to be your teammate and work together. I think that is a skill that actually you learn in university, other than all those textbooks that you go through all the syllabus and everything. Students must not just focus on just the textbook. It's important, yes, but it's also the other things that you have to look at, and those other things are usually being used at work, because when you work you will also do group project, and you will just be put into a group that you have never worked with. So for example, Farah, let's work with person A, and he's from another department and I've never worked with him or her, and suddenly we have to work for this, and it's for the sake of the company, right? And it's something important, of course, and furthermore it costs monetary. So you have to just be brave and be independent enough to go out of your comfort zone and ask that person, okay, so how can we do this and work together. And with that, you must also adapt to that person's work of style or the current situation that's going on. So I think those are the things that I picked up at university lah.
Amazing stuff. You definitely made use of your university life. Now,
Yeah.
you were one person, despite the fact you were doing a really difficult and challenging degree, you've always did a lot of other things to keep yourself occupied and also to put yourself outside the comfort zone, as you were mentioning. So,
Yeah.
what were some of the things that you did in university that actually helped you now?
So like I said, so I studied actuarial science, but my first work experience was in finance actually, and then I moved to corporate com. So in corporate communications, I did event. I did corporate events. So I organized all these visits from all this city management from overseas and so on. So because it was a bank. So anyway, and then now I moved to GRC. So I was trying to say, especially for the event, the corporate event part, I think me and my friends, including yourself, Melvin, if you remember, we did the Malaysian night. We organized a Malaysian night in our university. So we studied in Temple University in Philadelphia. So it's like in America, nobody knows or not many know what or where Malaysia is. So it was a fun and amazing challenge to actually organize an event at a place that you don't know where to begin with actually. So you had to go and apply. I think we had to go to the student council and apply for dates, and then like you just have to really look for the resources, and then we actually cook ourselves for that night, and then we gathered our I think that there were about like 30 of us that night. Yeah. And there were not many of us, kan? So we worked together to make sure the night happened, and I think it was a huge success because all the food was like habis. They tried all our local delicacies. I think we made nasi lemak, I believe, right? And then we did some performance. So we actually taught ourselves to dance. We look at YouTube and just learn how to do the traditional dance, and we give it our best, we give it all out. So I think that experience actually taught me like anything is possible. And we were in foreign land, we were just students, and but the fact that we were able to pull through such an event, like, just showed us like, okay, we can do things. So that experience, now settings, the career settings, same thing. I had to organize an event for, I remember it was in Kedah, and it was for like 5,000 people. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I supposed to do this, right? Like, where do I get resources and all that? So, of course, all this thing is running through your minds. But like I said, you just got to pull through, you got to push yourself, just go outside and just ask people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That is the most important thing. So you just go and ask, this uncle or that person or this supplier, whatever, just ask. And yeah, we managed to do that event for the people in Kedah, for 5,000 people. And they were the vendors, they were the people that cook. So it was a community event. So it was really nice. So yeah, so same setting, different places. That's all you need lah.
Amazing stuff, right? Just reminded of what Steve Jobs said. You can only connect the dots, from the back. So you did events when you were in Temple University,
Yeah.
and then who would have thought you would be a VP of corporate com, right? Years later, and applying the skill set. But the beautiful thing is that you've always been a resourceful person. You've always tried to, solve new things. Now that being said, it looks like you've made full use of your university. If you
Yeah.
were given a chance to go back to Temple and Fox School of Business. Is there anything else that you wish you could learn from Temple University?
Yes. I just wish that I paid more attention to the coding class. Uh, So when we went, I think it was one of the prerequisite that we had to take. So I took it, but it was more of a, okay, I'm just gonna have to take this, blah blah blah. But if I were to go back in time, I would have paid more attention in that because it is so much in demand right now, especially in the work that I do. We need to find ways to help us to calculate things easier and faster.
Amazing.
So yeah,
And we remember we tell our students that, in World Economic Forum, tech skills are some of the skills that is highly sought after.
yes,
And sometimes you have to learn this while you're doing something else in your university, right? So that'll be a good reminder, regardless of what field you're going into, a tech skill will be very good supplement, right?
yes.
Now, what would you advise our students in terms of preparing for a rapidly changing workplace? Now, you work in Kazana, you're able to see a big view of how the economic landscape is changing very rapidly.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell our Taylorians?
Again, I think you must be able to be flexible. You must be able to just do it, as in like believe that you are able to change and do it. And change is not easy. I know. And everyone would agree that it's the hardest thing to do, and it's also not comfortable. It is out of your comfort zone. For example, today I'm working as the investment risk person, but suddenly they said, okay, we don't need this much people here. We need more people in, for example, in finance. Or so it won't be that bad lah, the change. So it will be something similar. But still, it's different. It's finance suddenly, right? Or they ask me to be in the operational side, right? Which is something that I've never done before. But I need to be able to be flexible and adapt to that situation immediately. And like I said, learning never stops. It will continue. You will learn the job on the job. So you just need to tell yourself that you are able to do it, uh, and just learn as you go. So I think, yeah, I think you just gotta be a go-getter a little bit.
I remember my first job mentor told me the same thing. The having teachability, having the attitude where people can learn new skill is very important as a new recruit. In fact, that's one of the capabilities we try to build in our students, lifelong learning. So it's very beautiful that you definitely drove the point home. Now, that being said, if you were to hire an intern or a freshman to work for you, what would you look for in them?
To me, the first thing, the first and foremost, is the right attitude, because skills can be taught, because it's never down to the technical knowledge. You learn that job related specifics on the job. So it's the other stuff that we look for. It's the stuff that's unteachable, that separates, you from the rest of people, that separates the wheat from the chaff, they say it. So and how do you have the right attitude is you must always keep your mind open, be positive about things. So for example, it's simple things. For example, yeah, someone invited you to go to an event. I know a person, he actually go to all these events because it is, although it's not comfortable for him, it's not something that he's okay with, but he still bring himself and go, because that's the only way he learned how to talk to people. That's the only way he learned about what people are discussing about. So I think those are the things that we look for. The go getter, the right attitude, the right mindset, and I think the ability to work comfortably with everyone, because right now I think in the workforce we are facing a lot of generations at one time. I think this is the first time that it's happening. We still have some of the baby boomers.
Mhm.
We have, right, we have the Gen X, the Gen Y, the Gen Z, and then we have the I lost count actually, but we do have a lot of generations going on, like working at the same time, and this never happened before. This is the first time that's happening. So you want to be able to work with all these different kind of people. That is something that I think companies are looking for in a person when they hire, because qualification is everywhere. Everyone has it. It's on the paper. It's good. It's important. I'm not saying that it's not. It is, but it's the other stuff, like I said just now.
Amazing. Now, in our university, we call this life skills. You probably can see it over here, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing I could tell you is that we actually do prepare our students and tell them these are the important skills in workplace, which is more than just the degree requirement.
Yeah.
So, I hope that you will look into, our intern pools in our students and see if we can find some raw talents. Now, really amazing sharing from you. Now, today's TGC theme is TGC number 3, communication skills. Now, could you tell us how critical TGC 3 has been in your career success? Maybe you can even give an example.
So yeah, the third theme is communication skills, right? I think communication is not just about how well you talk or the amount of talking that you do per day. It is also about knowing to read the room, to observe your audience, to be able to use the most simple words to be able to deliver that message. And it doesn't matter in whatever language that is, be it English, Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, anything at all. I think it comes down to, can you deliver that message properly and the most simple way so that anyone would understand, not just the person who's very skillful in that area. Even the people on the street could understand what you're saying. So I think communication skills is very crucial, because I would say that really something that helped me throughout my whole career. Like I said, I was from finance. I was doing like balance sheet, reconciliation, like that. I still, okay, so it's numbers. Right? What I'm trying to say is I still need to call people and talk to them and ask them, why is your balance sheet not balanced? Right?
That makes
So that
sense.
involves communication skills. And so I was fortunate enough to start working in the States first before I come back to Malaysia. And so I was there in the States, and I need to call. And again, I was lucky also to be working with the we call it the overseas general office, where we oversees all the regions. So yeah, so we need to call South America, we need to call Latin America region, we need to call Japan, we need to call, and they all have different language, right? I mean, Latin America speaks Spanish mostly, and then Japan obviously speaks Japanese. And so I need to ask them, and I just started. But I thought like, okay, but my boss was a very good mentor who taught me that, like, just use simple English, get your point across, and get what you need from that. That's all. Don't need to like put on frills, put on all these things. So yeah, I think so. That's one. In finance, you still need communication skills, and obviously in corporate communication, you obviously not need communication skills. And now in GRC, in investment risk, I still need communication skills. Why? Because what I do right now is I'm analyzing data. But I need to be able to translate that data into simple words so that the management or other people would understand or how to use that data. Because you can, I mean, I think whoever loves to do data, they would get fascinated with all these numbers. Yes, we do. but that's only for you. You must be able to deliver that message to other people to be able to read your data. So that is also important. So communication skills doesn't stop. It just goes on and on and on. So that's work. And then you also need communication skills for when you are working with people. And like I said, you need to use the most simple word when you are working together, right? In a group. So you need to be able to put your point across so that that person understand and then pick it up and then continue work and so on. For example, in the crisis that we just happened, that is still happening, COVID. So we have our BCM team, Business Continuity Management team, and it's proven that when they send the email out to basically give out information on what's going on since day one, yeah, this is since 2020. They use simple English because people are in panic mode. They cannot digest a lot of things. They just need to know what's going on, what should I do, and or what do I do now, kind of thing. So, and I think this goes the same thing other than talking, is the email. The email needs to be very simple, but not too not too simple that people don't understand, of course. I see the problem is, or not, okay, not the problem. I think like the shortcomings that I see in emails usually is that people tend to use bombastic words. And in my opinion, and from where I come from, I don't need those. You just need to tell me what you want and I will deliver it to you. People are so afraid that they will sound bad, but that is email. It's short. If you feel that you don't want that person to sound to think that you're sounding bad, that's what the phone is for. And don't forget, we still have the phone. And I think that's another thing that I think younger generation forget. I mean, including myself. Sometimes I'll just text, like, hey, what am I doing? Like, let me just call you, yeah, so then when you call and your tone is different, then people will, I guess, read your email differently. But I think no, I think the simpler words you use in your email, the nicer it will sound, actually. Rather than to me lah, you don't need to use like all those big words. Yes, it's important to know big words, but only in theses and reports.
Amazing stuff. Thank you for giving us a crash course on TGC 3.
Is that something that you teach?
Yeah, we actually assess and we develop these capabilities. And as you were explaining, right, each and every one of the sub-attribute, in terms of, how we communicate according to audience, the language we use according to audience, you just covered everything. So I hope, our Tailorians will know that, we are assessing and building them in the right way. Now,
Yes.
Do you have any parting words, any final advice for our Tailorians?
Just to give you an idea, I'm not the brightest student at school. I'm not the brightest student at university and so not. But I think I tried to be an all-rounded person. I am not there yet. I still have some goals that I want to achieve, but I hope to be on the right track, which by being an all-rounded person have helped me to at least get where I am today. Because if you see my resume, I literally went around the world, meaning not the world. Like I went from finance to corporate com to risk management. It's basically a whole lot of different areas. But I think because I was brought up being an all-rounded and I surround with friends from all backgrounds. And I have friends who are very smart because I know if I'm with them, I will tend to study more and do more, like school stuff. And I also have friends who are adventurous and who will go for all these activities and whatnot. I will also have friends who are creative. I also have friends who are, I don't know, like who likes to read books. So I think how you can train yourself to be an all-rounded person is surround yourself with all kinds of different backgrounds and open your mind and listen to what people are going to say, share your opinion. I think that's very healthy. So when I was in university, I think that's one of the thing that I treasure most are my friends. We were 11 students from Malaysia who went to Philadelphia. If you Google, it was one of the notorious cities in the United States. And I'm gonna spill a bit about you, Naveen. So, and Naveen actually lived in like this one of the the roughest area with the highest like crime rates. But we actually sent him and another friend all the way there to make sure that they're okay, and we were so tight. We were close with each other. But at the same time, we also make friends with the Americans there. So that being said, you should have your friends, but don't limit yourself to those friends, because when you make other friends, and then when you want to hang out, you bring those friends and they bring their friends, and then you hang out. So that's how you grow your connection lah, or your different backgrounds, and that's how you surround with all kinds of people.
Amazing stuff, Miss Farah. It's amazing how, despite working for one of the most prestigious company in Malaysia, people fight to work in this company. And being an assistant vice president, you're still able to maintain a humility. And I see you as really an all-rounded person, and you've always put yourself on the edge to be able to develop the skill set. Now we hope that our students, after listening to you, will put themselves on the edges, stretch their comfort zone, and God permit one day achieve great success like you at a very young age, right? Let's not forget that.
Thank you.
So thank you for your precious time this afternoon, and we are looking forward to having you again in another series of TGC podcasts in the future. Thank you so much. Hey, Taylorians, thank you for joining this week's TGC podcast. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. We heard from Miss Farah that TGC 3 communication skills is absolutely critical to succeed in the workplace. We have to speak according to our audience, have a good structure in our communication, express our ideas in an expressive yet sensitive manner, use data and facts to support our points, and finally, listen actively to our counterparts so we can respond like a champion. Keep applying TGC 3 and become a rockstar graduate. And I'll see you on the flip side.